Hello everyone, Arun Vanagopal of WNYC here. It's my pleasure to introduce the Center for Traditional Music and Dances series, Beat of the Boroughs, NYC Online. This online series features over 50 of New York's leading traditional instrumentalists, dancers, singers, poets, and more. From Mongolia to Haiti, Colombia to the Gambia, among many others, they remind us how the strength of our country lies in its embrace of diversity and immigration. We want to celebrate these remarkable members of the New York community in these challenging times. So please enjoy these 50 programs, share them with your friends, and spread the word. Enjoy the show.
Well, hello, my name is Sebastián Cruz. I am a Colombian guitarist and composer living in New York for over 20 years. And right now we are at my studio El Caldero in Brooklyn, in Bushwick, even though I am a resident of East Harlem ever since I got here. But this is El Caldero, and I am very happy to be today with my dear friend Lucía Pulido. And I think later on we'll talk more about our long collaboration in music through the years. But for now, it's kind of a reunion of sorts. We've been playing some shows together in the past few days, but we hadn't seen each other in maybe over 2 years.
Or three.
Two or three. Yeah. So, anyways, this is a great occasion. I feel very happy that CTMD. Through my friend Jorge Arevalo behind the camera, the man behind the scenes, extended this invitation to be part of Beat of the Boroughs. So, okay, Bushwick and East Harlem represented today here, and maybe the Lower Manhattan or East Harlem, Chelsea, multi borough person here. Well, now you're in Mexico, but Lucia is a staple of the New York music scene, even though she is in Mexico. But anyways, we're doing a program for you guys of original music. All are my original songs. Some we have played together for years. Some this is the second time we ever do. So there's old and new and everything in between. Thank you for tuning in. And shall we sing? Well, shall you sing? Shall I play?
Yes.
Very nice. This song is called El Ultimo Vals, which is it draws from the old tradition of valses in Latin America, which of course has a heavy European influence. But in Latin America, Peru, Ecuador are very well-known places of where they write a lot of valses, and they tend to be very heartfelt, dramatic, sad a lot of times, and they belong probably in the repertoire that we call despecho, which is a word that suggests a feeling that you are left with when love fails, or you lose it in one way or another. So this song is called El Ultimo Vals. I originally wrote it instrumentally for a theater play, and when Lucia heard it, she liked it so much that she said, why don't you write lyrics for this? And it took me only like 6 years to follow up on her request, and here it is now, El Ultimo Waltz.
Okay.
Yeah, esa también that also was
Alright.
the request. They both have the same story. We'll do another waltz maybe. We'll see. But they both were instrumentals, and Lucia said, you have to put lyrics to this, and this is one of those. El Ultimo Waltz.
Tan lento y frío el viento en tu mirada, y mi corazón saliéndose y temblando se escapaba. Hoy mi vida gira alrededor de la honda herida de tu adiós. Y en el viento quedan dando vueltas los residuos del amor. Tan lento y frío el viento en tu mirada y mi corazón saliéndose y temblando se escapa. Hoy mi vida gira alrededor de la honda herida de tu adiós. Y en el viento quedan dando vueltas los residuos del amor.
We're gonna play a new song, very new song called Cada Viento, and this song is a new. It represents a new stage in our long collaboration. It belongs to a new project that Lucía is cooking up in Mexico, and it has to do with her experience of being in Mexico as a Colombian singer. And it's probably better if you talk a little bit about it, about how this song...
Yeah, because there is something I want to do is make obvious or to bring up how Colombia and Mexico are so well connected with music. And this is one of these examples about bambuco. The bambuco goes to Mexico from Colombia at the beginning of 20th century, and it stays in different places, but this kind of bambuco, or this bambuco for this example, goes to Costa Chica in Guerrero, and they start calling it columbias or colombianas, and they don't know it's bambuco. And they probably don't understand the rhythm, and they just call it, and they try to make it, but it's like a
limp bambuco.
Yeah.
Limp, like a bambuco with a limp. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, and it was, they play a lot for serenades, and now they don't play much because they don't do serenades anymore. And I show Sebastían these columbias and how much I would like to bring this rhythm to the project. I'm working with the music, and he said, I will compose in the style of a Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote this beautiful song, Limp Bambuco. It's in the style of Columbias.
Cada Viento.
Con mis huellas como semillas sembré el camino que vino hasta aquí, junto a ti. Y mis horas son como arena que han dibujado mi rumbo hasta aquí. Para cada lugar, cada viento, a todo respirar, nuevo aliento. Ya los mundos son tantos mundos, los invisibles los guardo yo aquí. Para mí, y las horas son tantas horas, las infinitas me acercan a ti. Para cada canción, cada viento, para todo cantar, nuevo aliento. Vengo por donde vengo, canto por donde canto, vivo por donde vivo y yo te quiero tanto. Vengo por donde vengo, canto por donde canto, vivo por donde vivo y yo te quiero tanto. Cada lugar, cada viento, a todo respirar, nuevo aliento. Para cada canción, cada viento, para todo cantar, nuevo aliento. Vengo por donde vengo, canto por donde canto, vivo por donde vivo y yo te quiero tanto. Vengo por donde vengo, canto por donde canto, vivo por donde vivo y yo te quiero tanto y yo te quiero tanto.
Yeah, so being a New York musician during the pandemic, I think meant different things for every musician. The pandemic is a global thing that affects us all in individual ways, which is very profound, I think. And for a while, I think I disconnected a little bit from the music creativity and maybe focused more on family and just spending the time. But a lot of the feelings, both personal and just sharing this global collective emotion of whatever. I mean, it's kind of hard to describe because it is really it's really big and complex in many ways. I think it has definitely influenced I don't know if the creative process, because I don't know how to talk about the creative process. I don't know exactly how that happens, and but I will know that it has reorganized different things, as even from the practical as to how to get together with people. I remember exploring remote platforms for collaboration. Some apps, and people were creating ways to improvise online, and I did some of those with some colleagues, some jams from home, and I didn't come to this studio for about 3 or 4 months, So everything was at home, and feeling the disconnect with the audience, with real musicians, definitely started to feel like there was a hunger there. It felt, for a while, it felt inappropriate to care about this because everything was so dramatic, and I mean, it still is very, very intense. But it felt like it. Why would this be important when there's just this is such a big thing happening? But at the same time, after a while, it also became obvious that these activities, music and sharing, were part of the things that made the whole thing move forward in a way, right? And so I looked for for some opportunities to do live streaming shows and connect with people that way, and those were fun, and those implied a lot of technical thinking, and so there were a lot of perspectives and horizons that were broadened and that came about because of the experience of being in the pandemic and trying to keep alive, and after a while trying to feel the creative juices need to keep flowing, and how to not let this thing just erase all of that, but on the contrary, how to build from it. So it definitely has been a very gradual but interesting process, with a lot of sorrow and grief in between. This is a very, very new song called El Vuelo. I wrote this song for my own project, but I thought it would fit Lucia very nice. And it's inspired in Colombian 6/8. I wouldn't say currulao because it's there are many rivers that flow in 6/8 in Colombia, so this has some of water from some of them, from a bunch of them, but it's not exactly one. It's one song that came after the pandemic, and it has to do with the experience. I would say I read a lot of lyrics coming out of one visual image. That's my most frequent way to work with words, which is from a visual image. And the image of the song is, imagine that we're here and all of a sudden there's an explosion and we're flying in the air, so everything changes. But there's a moment where you just don't know if you're up, if you're down, where you are. Everything is like this thunderous silence of confusion, and so it's a song written from like just that frozen moment of what the hell is going on, and it relates to both personal events, but it's also this thing that happened to everybody globally. So it has to do with that and how to hold on to something when you don't know where you're gonna land after this happens. So that's the idea of the song, El Vuelo.
De pronto todo cambia, lo que iba a ser estalla, y en el estruendo mudo nada queda igual, no hay ni cómo hablar, y el tiempo desnudo lo vi cayendo lento, trazando el domo inmenso, sin esperar que el proyectil al aterrizar fuera a retumbar tan dentro de mí, y me causa cuestionar todo lo que fui, perdido en el vuelo, me ciega el destello, me aferro a lo bello y no sé cómo volver. fotos y los recuerdos sueltos. Las huellas me sugieren que para pasar hay que caminar sobre lo que hiere y me causa imaginar todo lo que viene. Cómo volver y no sé cómo volver, ya no sé cómo volver, yo no sé cómo volver.
We're gonna play a song called Cancion Mandala, which is part of an album from a band I had many years ago called Koa, with which I released 2 albums, and those in those albums I have several singer guests, and Lucía is of course a guest in both albums, although she didn't record on this song in particular, but this is part of that repertoire. However, the song I wrote it because Lucía had a project with Fernando Tarrés, and they said we want a song that's kind of traditional with kind of a more advanced harmony or something. Fernando had some guidelines to that he wanted, and that was recorded, or you never actually ended up recording?
De pensar, yeah.
No, Cancion Mandala.
No, we didn't.
No, you didn't, right?
No.
So it ended up in Koa's album. Anyways, it's an old song, Cancion Mandala. Mandala, like those ritual, like the maps of the universe that the monks make with sand that then the wind blows away, or they just clean the sand and never to be seen again. That's kind of like what music is. It just goes flying in the air and you never see it again.
De mi voz si no me ves, y sigue escuchándome. Del viento viene la brisa, de la brisa vendaval, de vendaval huracán vuelve a soplar. De viento toda palabra, de viento toda canción, de viento también toda declaración. Cada canción es como un mandala, deja una estela sorda detrás y no se ve más. Y el viento pasa borrando el camino nuevo de arena para jamás voltear a mirar. Vuela, vuela, vuela y no se reposa. Vuela, vuela, vuela sin parar. Este mundo es de sonido, de ruido sin razón. Descubre este murmullo entre los dos. Llora una sirena, suena una alarma, canta un tambor y uno que nació estrena su voz. Vuela, vuela, vuela y no se reposa. Vuela, vuela, vuela sin parar. Vuela, vuela, vuela y no se reposa. Vuela, vuela, vuela sin parar. ¿En dónde estoy? Y sigue el sonido de mi voz si no me ves. Y sigue escuchándome. Vuela, vuela, vuela y no se reposa. Vuela, vuela, vuela sin parar. Busca mi voz entre el sonido, entre los ruidos. Búscame entre los ruidos, búscame entre los ruidos. Encuéntrame entre los ruidos, encuéntrame entre los ruidos.
I'm very excited that Lucía is back in New York after several years. We have recorded maybe 3 albums together, and we have played all over the world, in Europe and in Asia. And for a while, Lucía was even my roommate. You know, and
we were roommates.
Yeah, Lucía was my roommate for a while. Poor thing. And so it's definitely a long friendship, and working with Lucía has been a great learning platform for me, because I've had to arrange for different instrumentations and think of her voice as an instrument, and even the lyrics and the material, because there certain color of voice expresses certain things in different ways. So I would not compose a reggaeton because it's not my forte and it's not my area of expertise, and I don't have the sensibility, but I'm not sure that it would fit your voice either too good. So what I'm saying is that, there are certain materials and subjects and feelings that I think I've gotten to explore more just because I have Lucía's voice in mind. So it's great that finally you were able to travel and come back here and make some more music. Very excited about it.
Lucía, any comments?
Well, I think we both have learned a lot from each other. I like very much Sebastian's head, musical head. I feel very connected with the way he feels the music and he perceives it, and there's a lot of communication. Every time Sebastian is going to write an arrangement, or we are working in a new recording, he always asks me, what do you imagine? What kind of instruments? So it's like a nice conversation always on what do I hear, so he can translate it into what I hear. And yeah, it's very inspiring for me to have Sebastian, and I think Sebastian makes bigger any idea I can have. He just make it more real and much better, obviously. And it's the bridge for me to talk with the musicians also. Not because only the music, the English also. The language.
This song is called Pensar, which means to think, and I wrote it for wrote it for Coa, the band I used to have, but it ended up in an album by La Cumbiamba eNeYé, which is a band playing traditional Colombian music in New York that I've been a part for over 20 years as well. And Lucía is a guest singer in the album, and she sings the song in that recording. And also my guitar hero Mark Ribot plays guitar on the song. So it's a nice treat of life to have had that come together. Pensar, which is a love song for my wife.
De las balas yo me río y no me encuentran cazadores, no me bañan los colores, ni algún cantado me cierra. Soy al pensar en tu nombre la palabra que me entrega. De día no pienso en nada, de día no pienso en nada, de noche tampoco, de noche tampoco, tampoco quiero pensar, tampoco quiero pensar, aunque suene loco, aunque suene loco, con tu imagen es bastante para llenar mi corazón, luego de eso no me cabe nada. Miremos atardecer, miremos atardecer, se incendian las nubes, se incendian las nubes. Yo quiero volverte a ver, yo quiero volverte a ver, de lunes a lunes, de lunes a lunes. Con tu imagen es bastante para llenar mi corazón, luego de eso no me cabe nada. Miremos atardecer, se incendian las nubes, se incendian las nubes. Yo quiero volverte a ver, yo quiero volverte a ver, de lunes a lunes, de lunes a lunes. Con tu imagen es bastante para llenar mi corazón, luego de eso no me cabe nada. Con tu imagen es bastante para llenar mi corazón, luego de eso no me cabe nada.
Thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure to play with you, Lucia. Thank you for singing the songs, and thank you anybody who tuned in or who will tune in. Thank you CTMD, Beat of the Boroughs, and Jorge Arevalo behind the cameras. Have a nice evening, day, morning, week, year. Ciao.
Thank you.